Shalom. And I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Chodesh, that belongs to my teachers, dead apostles, and elders, made most known, and salutations to you, Akim, that's out there listening. Pushing forward this word with truth and sincerity, and you few Akwith as well. Let's listen with sincerity. I'm the brother Machaya from the camp, GMS Montreal, coming back with another lesson. And we have enemies, man. Okay? The nation of Israel has enemies. The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we have enemies. Okay? And one of our number one enemy is none other than Esau Edom himself. Okay? The so-called white man today, mass majority of them, they're descendants of Esau Edom. Okay? So part of you coming to this truth is knowing that you have enemies, man. Because our people, them, they don't know. You know, they're looking to be equal with their enemy, right? They're looking for the validation of their enemies. Well, here it is. Their enemies is looking to destroy them, man. Okay? Esau's not your best friend, man. Ishmael's not your best friend. Moab's not your best friend. Okay? If anything, as scripture say, let's get that. Every flesh will resort to its kind. Kind. In the book of Sirach, because the Lord made a separation between the nations. Okay? That's why you see Moab gets along with Moab. Ham gets along with Ham. Esau gets along with Esau. Ishmael gets along with Ishmael. Okay? You get more along with the people of your nation. And that's a fact. Alright? Oh, there we go. This is the book of Sirach 13 and verse 16. It says, all flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. Okay? A man is going to cleave to his like, man. So Jake trying to seek the validation of these other nations, you're going off, man. Okay? If anything, you're superior to them. You're superior to these other nations, man. They're below you. We're the chosen people. And we've fallen so far from our glorious estate to where that Jake doesn't even know who they are. Okay? They don't know that these heathens, they're lesser than them, man. If our forefathers were to take a time machine and come to the future, man, they would be like, damn, this is how low our people are fallen. That's what they would say. That's why the different prophets, when they saw the visions, like for instance Ezekiel, when he saw those dry bones, he couldn't believe it. He was like, yo, could those dry bones live? Because what? Those dry bones were representing the state, the dead state of the nation of Israel. Not knowing who they are, behaving like coons, okay? Like Jeremiah said, has Israel become a homeborn slave? Yeah, they have, man. These Jakes are complete coons, man. You know? But you're supposed to cleave to your like. Alright, now I want to get Psalms 83. Okay, to prove how that these other nations, they're your enemies. Right? So this is the book of Psalms 83, because these nations, they're having private councils, okay, on how to take y'all niggas out, man. And how to take out the nation of Israel. Okay, and these councils, you're not in it. You don't get a seat in that meeting. Okay? This is Psalms 83. What's that, verse 1? It says, a song, O Psalm of Asaph, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Yeah, these are the nations, they hate the Lord. Okay? And the Lord's enemies are our enemies. Like King David said, don't I hate them that hate thee? I hate them even with a perfect hatred. So, hey, the Lord's enemies, automatically they're our enemies. Because the Lord is our power. That's our power source. Okay? So they're lifting up the head. They're making a tumult. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Yeah, they're taking crafty counsel, man, on how to take Jake out. Right? To where that they gave Jake Planned Parenthood to take the father out the household. and let the woman raise up the children. And then what's the final product? You have these GMO babies, these monsters, these emotional monsters. Okay, what they give you a gangster rap that I've even forwarded more. You know, them emotional GMO babies, man. Okay, like Apostle Akaz says, these mop heads, GMO babies. Yeah, who do you think is responsible for that, man? Esau. Esau and the rest of these other enemies, man. Mainly Esau, really. It's mainly Esau. Okay, because Amalek is the one that's behind the music industry. All right, he's responsible. Okay, Jake is to blame too, because you know they made a decision, because you know we're under the curses. But regardless of the root of the problem is E, man, the number one enemy. He poisons your foods, right? He puts Jake's in the block, right? And then all you see that's around the neighborhood of the so-called Black Latinos Americans is liquor stores, okay, fast foods. And you can't forget that the Christian church, every block, every block, every ghetto has to have a church, either Catholic or Christian. There's a church. They all are in the midst of this liquor, GMO, madness. Yeah, man. This is part of Esau's crafty counsel, man. Okay, and the rest of these other nations. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So they want to take us out, man. They want to take us out. Right? The counsel is that so that we shouldn't be a nation anymore. In other words, exterminate us. Take us out. You know? And it's very poetic, because according to prophecy, who's going to get taken out? Who's going to be extinct? None other than our number one enemy himself, Esau Edom. Right? That's the poetic justice of the Lord, man. Here it is, he's fighting tooth and nail to take us out as a nation, but here it is, he's going to be the one that's going to be taken out forever. Hey, that's Yappa, man. That's very Yappa. That's why in the Psalm of Asaph, Psalm 73, Asaph was glad how that he saw that there was an end to this madness. There was an end to Esau's wickedness, man. Right? Right? The Psalm says, Asaph, he said, right, when I went to the sanctuary of the Lord, then understood at their end. Because in the beginning of the chapter, Psalm 73, he was speaking about how he was envious at the prosperity of the wicked, right? And then he went to the sanctuary of the Lord, he came into the truth. He's like, okay, there's a future judgment. This is not going to last forever. They're not going to get to take out the nation of Israel. You know? And that's facts. Okay? Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, and of Moab, and of the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistines with the habitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot. Salah. Okay? So, that's our enemies, the heathens, man. And you see here, Esau is named twice. Okay? Because we know Amalek is one of the tribes of Esau. Okay? One of the chief tribes. You see? So, hey, he is the number one enemy, man. Jake, gotta make sure you get that in your head, man. They're not for your welfare. Look at their history. Look what they did to our people, man. And to this day, they still have that hatred towards us. Scriptures speak about in Ezekiel how that they have a perpetual hatred. Let's get that quickly, man. Okay? Which Esau's hatred is more potent than that of the heathen. Okay? Because what? You know, he lost the blessing, he got jealous, and also the Lord created him to be in opposition to us too. Okay? So this is the book of Ezekiel, 35. and verse 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, when their iniquity had an end. Wait, no. Yeah, that's it. Salah, let me read that again. I had a brain fart for a second there. Ezekiel 5 and verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. So clearly you can see here he has a perpetual hatred. Okay? And that word perpetual going to everlasting, long lasting, forever. Okay? So forever Esau's gonna have a hatred towards us, man. Even in the kingdom. Even in the kingdom, man, this guy's still gonna be a hater. He's still gonna be a hater, man. Because once again, the Lord created us to be opposite to one another. That's why eventually, after 1,000 years, Esau's gonna have to be extinct. He's gonna have to be gathered up and deleted and not come on the earth again. You know, like the book of Isaiah says, if his children be multiplied, it's for the sword. For the sword, motherfucker. Yeah. You know? I want to get this as well in the book of Proverbs. Is it 27? No, not 27. No, 19, I want to say. Bear with me for a minute. Damn. What was it, 29? I feel like it's 29. Yep. This is Proverbs 29 and verse 27. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. Okay, and Esau is the unjust man, and we're just. Therefore, he's gonna be an abomination to us, and we will be an abomination to him. Because he was created to bring forth only wickedness, while we were created to bring forth righteousness. Okay? So we can never, be in unison with this devil, man. There can never be, a stage where, we see eye to eye. No. Okay? We're complete opposites. So let's get this in the book of Sirach 12 and verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So never trust your enemy, man. Get that to your thick skull, Jake. Never trust your enemies. Okay? Number one, E. And also the rest of these nations, man. Because they will use flattery words. They will flatter you. But that flatter, and deep down inside, they're cursing you. Deep down inside, they're jealous of you, man. They're two-faced. Two-faced motherfuckers, man. And then behind your back, they'll talk shit about you. They talk shit about you in the dinner table. Esau is very notable for that, man. These nations, they don't like us, man. Going back to the time of Adam, they were jealous of Adam. Right? The book of Ezekiel speaks about that. How the other trees in the garden were jealous of Adam's bows. You know what I'm saying? How that the Lord blessed them. That hatred didn't leave. That jealousy didn't leave. They still have it till this day. Psalms 83 that we read. It says, verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Yeah, that wickedness is still there. That hatred is still there. If you look hard enough, if you examine your enemy, you're gonna see, this nigga's an enemy, bro. He ain't for my welfare. He's a liar. Okay, you will see it. It says, verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember thy words and be pricked therewith. That's facts. I want to jump down to verse 17, because that's a good one too. Well, the whole thing is good. But I just want to get this point here too. It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. And that's true, man. Esau is always there whenever adversity comes upon Jake, man. Was he not the one that was responsible for burning our temple when the Babylonians came and overtook us? Yeah. Remember the children of Edom, the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, raise it. Psalms 137 in the last few verses. And even in the book of, I think it was either second Ezra or first Ezra, it speaks about Esau burning the temple, man. So he's always there when adversity comes upon us. When the earthquake happened in Haiti in 2010, who was there? With his UNICEF. You know what I'm saying? Looking to come and get resources from the island, man. Something happens in Africa, in the continent of Africa, a country in there, he's there. Esau's always there, man. He's always looking for profit. He's always looking to see when we fall, and then to come there to undermine us, man. And that's a fact. So you gotta beware of your enemies, man. When you're out and about in the world, man, just know that you got enemies, even of your own people too. Especially if you're in the truth, your own people, they're your enemies too, man. So you gotta look out. But anyways, man, I'm gonna close it off there. Like me, all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Wakach Dash. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, I'm gonna say Shalom.